Good afternoon. How is everybody this afternoon? How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? Well, I came just to say here just a few things, just fresh off the press. So, as a whole, as what this beautiful country that we all live in, I like to say that the number four is going to be a good idea. That information has been forwarded, and they're going to then take the opportunity to engage in these kinds of agreements of the number four. So basically, I spoke to Ardanna of the Pleiades, and among our conversations were many other things that, personal things about her. But for now, she's made it clear, and I've asked her to push along that information to whoever needs to know about moving on to the number four personally, just as a country and not as a whole planet. So that's moving forward. Thank you guys. Um, she says that between 100 and 125 years, it took her to learn. It took her between 100 and 125 years for her to realize that she wanted to be part of the Galactic Federation of Worlds, which police the Galactic Federation planets that have joined. And that was her choice at 100, between 125 years. She already knew that's what she wanted to do. Um, let's see. Right now, she and it was a little it wasn't very clear communication with her, but she's between 381 years old or 281 years old, if you know what I mean. Not exactly, just kept coming bouncing back between these two things, so that didn't quite make any sense. But comparing her age with someone else's age that we spoke about very briefly, that other person was 440 years old. So I would lean towards more of her being 281 years old, but closer to 281. Anyway, that's not important at this moment. She did say that the feminine energy in the world embodied by feminine body types that we have has been completely distorted in such a way that, considering the very feminine energies that are dominant in a way, or more attuned that we would like to think here on Earth, that is easy manipulated to have a battle of the sexes, so to speak, on this planet. So it very much is bottom of the bucket situation that we have here on Earth because of all this previous information that they've brought here in order to manipulate and control every one of you. That's another thing that she mentioned completely. She says that Pleiadians are very free people, if you know what I mean. They don't usually partner up in such a way that allows them to, um, you know, start a family or anything like that. They're very independent of each other. They're very, um, they just like to have their freedoms. I think in one word, I think she meant we really do like to have our freedoms. They're not locked into anything too specific, except maybe what their goal might be. So if you can imagine, son, that it's a big ball of light and it shines and it grows. So what she was saying was that you know that you're born and you know you have a mission in life, but a lot of people never realize what their mission in life might be, or maybe they don't realize what that entails. But for most of us that know, you're born and then you realize at a certain age, younger, maybe older, what it is that you're here to do. And I congratulate you for that because it's an interesting step when you realize what is it that you have to do in this world. To be outside of that purview is very interesting because it leads to a life of just joyful living. All right. until you find out what you have to do. Specifically, it could be anything, whatever you're drawn to. So Ardanna was there. She deflected an attack from dark forces as well. We didn't want her to go, but she left. I didn't particularly want her to go anywhere. I wanted to feel her energy, and I felt her feminine energy. It's great. And then I had another visit from a person, an individual, also from the Pleiades. Now, him, I could see him clearly more than what I saw in Ardanna. Ardanna is, of course, feminine energy. And then this gentleman here, I think he wanted to be called Dar'rion or Dar'rion. There wasn't an exact spelling of the name, but I did see his face, and he kind of showed me his, side of his face. He has a little pointy nose, light skinned. He has I want to say his hair is like silverish, very fine hair coming down to his shoulders. His suit was kind of like this color blue, bluish like this was his suit, and he just wanted to hover. He wanted to connect with my energy, and he wanted to pretty much he wanted to be there. If I now that I think about it, I believe that what he wanted to do was he wanted to just have me feel what that his energy is like as a masculine entity, because I generally deal with the angelic realm. I've mentioned this before, and instead of you having to go back through the videos, I'm just going to repeat a lot of the things that I've been saying so that it's fresh, because I often forget some of the things that I say myself. In any case, he just was there. We didn't particularly have any significant conversation other than his presence, and I did think about a lot of the reasons why he might have been there. Was he just confirming what Ardanna said earlier? Was he, I don't know, did he have anything to say specifically? He just showed up. And the only difference that I can tell was what he asked for. He said, I can give you a name. And he gave me a name, Dar'rion or Dar'rion. I can think of it as DAR apostrophe RION. And that he wanted us to feel his energy, and he wanted us to first figure out what his gender was. I think these are instructions. He said I could give you a name, but he specifically said, feel my energy of who I am. And then we agreed, okay, male. And we didn't rank him in any specific way other than his reason to be there. But I guess communicating, you can just feel another person's energy and let him in. So it took me about 10 minutes to realize, okay, I'm feeling this new energy and I'm letting it settle into my head, okay? So now that this is open specifically, I think we've reached another level of understanding. Another thing that Ardanna said was that it's like when everything has levels to it, okay? And I'm going to use the example of a chakra. For example, there's a higher third eye chakra. There's a higher heart chakra as well. And there are different levels to things. So what the example that she gave me is that if you give a crystal to a child, he may interact with us in a certain way. If you give a crystal to me, I'm going to interact in a certain way. And if you give that same crystal to someone that's just unaware, an organic human being, because we have, at least half the planet or 3/4 of the planet is organic human beings born on Earth, that makes it interesting that the crystal would interact in a different way from that person. Now, when this person interacts with that crystal, for example, and gains knowledge and starts to gain understanding, the crystal then will only open itself up. These are her words now that I remember. The crystal will only open itself up to the level of understanding that you have. So for those of you that are seeking more information about councils, and for those of you that are seeking information about higher level beings that are out there, I just want to say that regardless of what's in front of you, whatever is handed over to you, you're not going to get more than what you're capable of handling, because no one's going to shock your system in a way to put you in an insane asylum if you just gain too much information. That's just going to happen. Everything has its level, everything has its meaning, everything has its purpose. And you're not going to wander around with these thoughts about the things that you figure out that aren't quite at your level yet, because it'll make you go crazy. All right? And that's not what you want to do. You don't want to know too much, because you know too much, it's not healthy for anybody. And you can figure out too much. All it's going to do is going to make you cocky, and it's going to make you feel like you're better than everybody else. And do we really want people like that in the world? I don't think so. So please be responsible. And just, don't give out too much information that you don't want anybody to know. If you have a crystal and you start telling this person, well, you know what, this is a crystal and this allows me to clear my thoughts and gather my energy and balance my body. 2 years from now, it'll do that. And it'll do so much more. Maybe you can start saying, well, you know what? Now when I have this around me, I feel different kinds of energy. I interact with different beings. I have more access to information. I can, I don't know, whatever that may be. But if I give a crystal to someone, I tell them, well, I can walk around, I can go through walls, I can jump really high. You're giving this person an expectancy that they won't get, because the crystal will only interact with you at a level where you are balanced and you are at level with that kind of energy. So overdoing it with information, and maybe just as an example, you can do it, but you want everyone to focus on their level of where they are right now and not push them over the edge, because they're going to have an expectancy that won't be reconciled based on their understanding and their knowledge. That's a lot of internal work that needs to be done in order for it to accomplish these sort of results. It just doesn't happen overnight. So I guess that's a good way to end it all. And just enjoy the rest of your afternoon. You have a great day. I usually just remember a lot of things after the video is done, and I urge myself not to do a second video and name it part 2. But this is as much as I can gather for now, and it's all that matters. Like I've said, I haven't written anything down on plans anymore. That's not going to happen. So enjoy the rest of your afternoon. You have a great day, and I will talk to you soon, guys. Take care.